Hello and welcome to another Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 video. In today's video, we will be talking about 10 Easter eggs that both I have found and some that I found on the internet itself. Now, our first one is going to be one that is kind of, it's kind of giving you the benefit of a doubt, but it is a Harry Potter reference. Over here in the southwest corner of the map, in the Trotsky region, there's a tree with what appears to be Harry Potter stuck in the tree with a golden snitch in his mouth. The card above can also be a reference to Harry and Ron when they got stuck in the tree, and I think the second movie, when the Whomping Willow beats the crap out of their dad's tree. And yeah, that's that. Our second one is there going to be a medieval gym located to the north of the castle in the Trotsky region, the big castle, the campaign one that you go into. Now, this is more so just kind of here. There's nothing you can really do with it. There is a little book you can read that tells you some of the more important things, which of course you can't really get past it till you actually study it. So you can see the first page, but as you can see from when I go to pick it up, it does give you the most important detail when you're trying to gain some muscle mass, and that is, let's see. Proper nutrition. I mean, hey, it's not wrong. All right. For the next Easter egg that we have found, there's a hobbit hole. This is more so just kind of like something random. I don't really think this was placed here as anything that's, it could really be anything. It could be a not purposely put here, but I mean, it's here at the end of the day. So on the eastern side of the Trotsky map, on one of the sides of the town, Troskowitz, which I'm sure I just butchered, there's a little hole in the side of this walkway and this little like embankment right here that kind of, you can't interact with it or anything, but I mean, it's a cool little touch because clearly that is a hole for something. Hobbits, fairies, or something else that's more of a folk tale. I mean, the next one is, of course, an alien ship. This is located in the farthest southeast you can go in the Trotsky region. It's kind of hard to get a good shot of it as it's kind of back beyond the lines where you can see. But from the clip, I'm sure you can tell, you can see the smoke and the billows, and I think I do get a good little view of it. But it's pretty obvious that it's a flying saucer, kind of like the old 1960s way, 1950s way of looking at alien ships. And it's just a cool little callback to the time when, we kind of saw stuff like this and it kind of sparked our imagination. But as you can clearly see, it's a flying saucer. And like I said, it's located southeast, the most southeast you can go pretty much in the Trotsky region. For our next Easter egg, this is probably my favorite, of course, because I'm a huge Elden Ring fan, but this is where you can find the remains of Let Me Solo Her. Now, Let Me Solo Her is pretty much just I don't know how you would describe it. I guess he's just an internet meme at this point, but he's also like, it's iconic now, right? It was just kind of, I think, he made it as a joke, but now it's kind of spanned past the Elden Ring community. But it's pretty obvious this is him with the jar in the head and the two swords that he wields, as well as the poppies that, of course, probably reference Melania and her scarlet rot. Which, hey, I mean, she's a pain in the butt, so I'm glad they gave her a little bit of credit too. Our next one is going to be the one that's kind of more disappointing than anything. This one's still located in the Trotsky region, sort of on the western side of the map, northwestern side of the map. But this is a reference to Excalibur, which is the sword in the stone, which is from the story of King Arthur. The most disappointing thing about this is it's more so just kind of a placeholder as opposed to an actual weapon. I know in this game you can kind of get, like, for instance, the sword that I run, the Sword of Sir Valentine, you can get things that are kind of like historically accurate weapons. But unfortunately for now, this is nothing more than just a broken sword in the stone, which you'll find by watching me jump over it and try to pull it out myself. Our next Easter egg is going to be, I'm not sure what this is specifically referencing. I think this is probably a reference from the country that Warhorse is from. I think they're Polish, something like that. But this is clearly a troll, stone troll, which I think probably references a bunch of things. And then once you go down to this little path, you find what looks to be a guy reaching out of the water and a dead woman, of course, which I don't know what that's referenced either, surrounded by mushrooms. I'm sure this is all just a folktale. And the man in the water kind of reaching out while the alligator chases him. The only thing that comes to mind, even though I don't see a clock and I don't hear a ticking noise, is Captain Hook. But then again, this might be some other folktale or something like that that I just am not privy to know. Still interesting regardless. Our next one is the vampire. This one's found in the Gutenberg region. This is in the middle of the city, I'd say. And you just have to find your way underground at a specific point, and then you kind of just climb your way down into the dark. Now, I will say these tunnels are already naturally kind of spooky, so, I mean, they didn't really have to do much with just placing something down here. There isn't really much down here besides the vampire himself, and honestly, when I was trying to find my way back up, I got lost, so if that gives you any indication to not go in the tunnels like me, then yes, I would say so. But clearly a vampire, he has a stake through the heart. He's got a cross in his arms, and he's kind of, here's some gold you can take nearby for free money, but other than that, and this lady over here, I'm not sure what this whole area really is. It's just kind of, he's placed here. I don't know the significance of the second lady either. Our next Easter egg is a Puss in Boots reference. Of course, the DreamWorks Puss in Boots, which is from the Shrek universe. Puss in Boots is seen as kind of like a cat, like a bandit in cat form, essentially. And this is kind of just a reference to him that would kind of, as opposed to just a straight, like, copyright infringement, you know, visualization of him. This is more so just like Warhorse's way of kind of giving a nod to the character while also keeping it within the realm of like, oh, that's clearly Puss in Boots, but it's not, because he's not oranges or anything like that. But I don't know what this would be. The last Easter egg that I found, which I thought was interesting, was a dead mermaid, and I think it's more so, I think it's a Little Mermaid reference, because you have the pool that Ariel and Eric were sitting in, and you have all this stuff like from the picnic, and it's just very, it feels like it's more than just a dead mermaid setup. It more so feels like it is specifically a Little Mermaid setup. But I'm sure in the interest of not pissing off Disney, they kind of just made it look similar without having too much things that can kind of be like, oh, that's very obviously a Little Mermaid reference. That's what I think. You could, of course, argue because, I mean, a mermaid, and the idea of a mermaid is to kind of draw guys into the water anyway, so maybe it just makes sense. But she's very clearly also holding a little mini trident, and there's some loot in the water right next to her, so I think it's meant to be like Ariel's little trinkets. But that's all I have today. Hope you all enjoyed this video. If I do find some more, I will be sure to upload them.